Okay. All right. I hope nobody minds my hair. I took the scissors to it this morning. This is something I wrote over the past month or so that I believe will any human can relate to. It'll take just a few moments, but I believe you'll be uh, I believe anyone will find it interesting. Here it goes. I have a message I believe to be important that I would like to share, and it is this. Even if I hadn't been raised in a strict Pentecostal atmosphere that taught and recruited using the fear of hell instead of the love of God, even if I had never heard of the Bible or anything spiritual, or if I had never encountered any concepts of religion, demons, or anything like that, I could still easily see that something has possessed the majority of humans that occupy this present world today. This should be quite obvious to anyone, regardless of their IQ or background. It has taken over nearly everywhere and it's easy to identify. If you don't know what I'm talking about or haven't recognized it yet, I'll attempt to point it out. It's everywhere. Just go down to your local convenience store, observe the people going in and out of the store. Watch those who are waiting in line at the register and even those sitting in their vehicle waiting for someone inside. Or you can do this at any Walmart or auto parts store, or observe the people at any bank or hospital. You can watch them at the zoo, an amusement park, a police station, or on any school campus. You'll see it at every concert hall, church service, county fair, and family get together over the holidays. It will certainly be prominent in the waiting room of any personal physician's office, such as a dentist or optometrist, or take a look in the employee break room at any establishment whatsoever, whether it's an office environment or an industrial factory setting, and you will definitely find it there as well. Or you can go to any bar, golf course, little league game, or restaurant and you'll see it there too. Or when you're in your car, just glance over at the vehicle next to you, whether you're stopped at a red light or moving along the highway, and there's a good chance you'll see it there too. And unfortunately, if you observe a family at the dinner table or two people on a date, chances are that one or more of them are entertaining this phenomenon as well. And at any park where parents take their children, you'll see the adult pushing their child in a swing with one hand while staring with rapt attention to the object in their other hand. It's everywhere. The it I'm speaking of is a behavioral pattern that could easily be described as the worship of an object. It consists of bowing and the focusing of all of one's attention as well as their devotion, because more time is given to it than anything else. Just watch someone who has lost or misplaced this object and see them act as though it were the most important and precious item they own. Or simply inquire of someone in the midst of worshiping their device what they're doing. They may say that they're just scrolling or checking their status or looking at Facebook or checking their bank account or texting a friend or playing a game or shopping for groceries or looking up something or paying their insurance or watching videos or looking at the calendar or filling out an application or trying to download something or ordering dinner or on an important FaceTime call. Or they may say they're taking a picture or video or using the calculator or looking for a coupon on a particular app or asking Google something or using their GPS. Now, regardless of the task being done, are not all these people doing the exact same thing? Something that in general is extremely self-serving. Some may argue the varying importance of whatever they're using it for. But if you group all these users together and observe them, you cannot tell them apart. With one mind, they are all totally ignoring their surroundings. They've each pulled in all of their attention from reality and have focused it in on an image, with all of their time devoted to this thing. Even if someone is on a video call, face to face, it's still an image of that person and not reality. It's not the real thing. The definition of an idol is 1. An image worshipped as a god. 2. A much loved or admired person or thing. And the definition of worship is, the word worship, 1. Deep respect towards God, a god, or a sacred object. 2. too much respect or admiration. Now, regardless of what anyone says, if they spend more than 50% of their awake and conscious hours with one particular object, that would be an idol, a much loved or admired thing. And I'm certain that most users spend well over half of their free time on this device, which could easily be labeled as worship. I'm not judging whether right or wrong. I'm just pointing out a deeper truth, which is, are not all these people doing the same thing? Could they put it down and still function normally? Or if they lost their device, would they be able to behave normally, or would all their existence cease till it is found? And when it comes to Christians worshiping this thing, they may claim that they post and like Bible verses and things like that, but I would ask them where they post and like these things. The answer is on their device. But despite how they may act for 90 minutes on Sundays and Wednesdays, if someone were to take away their device, or if they lost it, they would behave just as selfish and irate as any other sinner who is strung out on their screen. The Christian's ability to carry a conversation on any level would cease, and they would be encompassed with a never-ending frustration and worry, unable to assist or help anyone around them with anything until they find their phone or replace it. How many souls could they win over during that time? Here's something else I would like to say about many of these idol worshippers that call themselves Christ-like. If Jesus had a cell phone and someone stole it from him, would he A, immediately become angry, call the police, and stay mad and offended until he not only got his phone back, but until the thief was arrested or somehow punished? Or B, offer whoever took the phone the charging cord that goes with it? If you present this little dilemma to a religious person, they'll most likely skip over answering it and, in a hurried manner, begin to tell you that all their information is in the phone, though. And then you could ask them, well, who put all of your information on there? Who gave it this power over you? Once that is asked, and if the Christian hasn't begun to assault you, which many are quick to anger, they may remark about the cost of the thing. I wonder if they would react this way if the initial dilemma was about if someone had stole their Bible. It certainly seems as though God is using a screen to sift out mankind. Leaving the hypocrites alone for now, I would like to talk about the advanced technology this object has. The technology is absolutely fascinating. I believe it can make many aspects of life much easier and more convenient. So can heroin, meth, pain pills, and cigarettes for a short season. Just like any device humans use, if its power isn't fully understood and respected, then irresponsible use will soon overtake the user. And suddenly you're hooked. You can't put it down and devote more and more time to it. As soon as you wake in the morning, you're reaching for it, whether it's a needle with drugs in it, a cigarette, or a phone. These things are all devices. Or when you're at work, before break time comes, with the same craving the drug users have as they rush to their buddy's car to snort a line, the device users have as they're already staring at their screen, walking like zombies before they're halfway to the break area from their workstation, then returning to work after break in the same fashion. Then, once clocked out at the end of the day, they stare at it all the way to their vehicle, doing the zombie phone junkie slow walk that they all do identically, that just screams, I'm totally oblivious to all my surroundings. Then, once inside their vehicle, waiting on work traffic to thin out, what do you think they're doing? Watching videos, possibly checking their email? The users may give a wide assortment of answers in regards to what they're doing on their device, but in reality, are they not all doing the exact same thing? This won't be too long. Considering the distraction... Am I still recording? Okay. Considering the distraction factor alone, one can easily see how this could be unhealthy mentally and physically, not just to the individual user, but to the human race as a whole. when literally all of your information and everything about your personality is in it. When you have a question about anything, you first go to it. After all, Google knows everything, right? When you want to contact someone for any reason at all, whether for personal or business, you use it. Instead of going shopping physically, you can use your device to acquire any need or desire that you may have. After all, some advertising boasts that with the proper app, you can use your device to shop for a new vehicle while watching your favorite television show, all while not having to get up off your couch. I don't believe advertisements such as these are geared towards starving children, though. So, no matter what type of person someone is, as long as they have a device, then with a touch of a finger, they can have anything available at any time from anywhere. Literally any desire at their fingertips. It seems that all this ego boosting, complacency, and ease of living hasn't just turned much of mankind's desires more and more selfish, but also more dark and more sinister. One can easily see how the merchants of this world have used the device to become rich. There's nothing one can't access with this device. There's no merchandise that cannot be bought in this city. I'll refer to the internet as a city because that's where everyone goes to hang out. It's where most people spend the majority of their time. It's where people go to shop. It's also where you can go meet people, both old friends and new ones. You can also go there to find a date. It's where people of all ages, male, female, and the in between, uh, all gather. All political parties from the far left, far right, anarchists, terrorists, Christians, and atheists are all there too in this city. You'll find people both rich and poor of every nation and tongue in this city. Now, about the distraction factor, here's a way to put some more perspective on it. Check it out. Imagine this, it's 200 years ago, and nearly every person everywhere you went was always reading a book. It doesn't matter what genre or type. It could be a science book, romance novel, a religious book, or anything, as long as it's a physical book with paper pages. So whether walking down the street, at the market, or at some type of meeting, everyone you encounter is reading some type of book. This means that at least some of their attention is pulled in away from reality and redirected towards the book in their hand. It's easy to see how this could be disruptive to society as a whole. Lay down, Gus. Gus, lay down. It's easy to see how this could be disruptive to society as a whole. With less attention to one's surrounding environment, including fellow humans, the likelihood for injuries of all types goes up, as well as many people feeling ignored or overlooked. This is with a paper book, the book with paper pages. It's still only a book, even if it is very interesting. People could still fairly easily raise their head up out of it to communicate and mingle with others when necessary. Still yet, overall, there would be issues arise if this were the case. It's a thought experiment. Now imagine if the book had a life of its own and it constantly rang like a bell 24/7, begging for your attention. Do you think that would also cause problems in society? And if the book were alive, there would be much more interaction with the thing, the results being no one would ever pull their head out of it, almost as if they were caught in a net or a screen or a web. Fast forward back to modern times, not 200 years ago anymore with everyone walking around reading a book, but back to modern times. Once your mind has been caught in that internet, that web, that world wide web, it seems that no one can shake it or come loose from it. And they spend nearly every moment of their lives there, living in a false sense of comfort and complacency, where they are able to communicate with others in an arrogant manner that they would never attempt to do face to face with an individual. This is because they are hiding behind an image, communicating with other images. Interactions like this over time will severely deteriorate the natural human character. That's obvious. And communications such as this, especially in the negative type, must be sickening to our Creator. What a waste of moments. What a waste of the moments of one's life, in my opinion. But still, they babble on, babble on, babble on. In my own personal experience with the device, I've had it to beg for my attention like a crying child that's being ignored. It will continually beep, vibrate, and light up with notifications that seem specifically designed to harvest every second of one's attention. There are notifications that read 200% off from some kind of merchandise or some service of some sort or another. Of course, 200% off anything will get many people's attention. There are also alerts that read, hurry, time is running out on whatever is being advertised. Then there are the news headlines that only show enough to bait in one's attention, such as massive food recall in blank, or U.S. military airstrikes in the city of blank, or the president just signed a huge blank. And of course, you have to touch the screen and give it more of your attention in order to see the rest of the info. Now, does this not seem as if the device is trying many ways to get more and more of people's attention directed towards it? As if the users don't already volunteer enough attention to it already, as if they don't already spend nearly every free moment of their day using it for something or another. For something or other. I'll go ahead and say this. Yes, I know you can turn off the notifications or go to settings. But here's something that I find odd. Any person that I've spoken to about this attention seeking behavior by the device will immediately seem jolted and will nearly interrupt me before I finish speaking with them and say, oh, you can just go to your settings, or oh, you can turn off your notifications. Always, they're quick to answer. The quickness they offer a solution is as if anything possibly negative about the device mustn't be spoken, as if it's sacred, like a sacred object. So far, everything I've been talking about in these writings has a truth to it that can't be denied. People of all ages are flocking more and more to this city, becoming dependent on it, getting caught up in the net of it. And as they continue to give it its power over them by putting all their life's information, personal and financial, into it, they'll never be able to come out of it. And at this point, just about every form of evil, just about every form of evil can be found there as well. The worst kind of evil, it's all there in that city. People harming and killing one another, the buying and selling of children, basically all the most depraved, disgusting behavior humans are capable of can be found there on the internet. That's not to even mention all the theft, bullying, spying, and monitoring. Even if one isn't a child predator or an identity thief or anything like that, just the time alone spent while ignoring one's surroundings while simply scrolling for hours or conjuring up ways to get more likes is absurd. Here's another way of looking at the message I'm trying to share. Let's use North America, for example. Now pretend that you're God. Now, while looking down from above without anyone knowing, begin to divide the population. Keeping in mind that all humans are created equal, so you couldn't use race or gender to begin separating them, how would you do it? Of course, possibly by their deeds and so on, but upon observing humans in their current state, in the exact moment, there would be one initial difference between them that couldn't be overlooked. One immediately noticeable factor: the people who are staring at their device and the people who aren't. Most likely, those who are would be a far higher number than those who aren't, but hypothetically, let's just say it's half and half. So across the board, North America, half the population are stuck on their screens, and the other half aren't. Remember, this is a hypothetical exercise that anyone can comprehend. So take a look at the half of the people who are on their device. You can't tell them apart. They all maneuver around like zombies, oblivious to the world around them, staring with rapt attention at their idol, which is the object of their entire focus. Anything besides their device comes second at best, or is just a hindrance to them. Now take a look at the remaining half of the people who aren't on their device. They could be doing an innumerable amount of different things, good, bad, ugly, and all in between. But regardless of what it is they may be doing, it's the variety of activity happening among the non users that sets them apart from the users, which, with one mind, are all doing the exact same thing. The users, that is. Uh, Here's another way to put some perspective on this thing. Let's say it's 2,000 years ago, and I told you that humans could communicate with each other instantly from hundreds of miles apart, which means any message could be sent from you to another person in less than a second. And once the other person formed a proper response and sent it, you would immediately receive it. Ants. There's a good chance you would freak out and think I was talking about some type of sorcery or witchcraft. This is true. Especially after I told you you could communicate face to face with anyone from anywhere at any time instead of using a crystal ball, using a flat crystal rectangle. And if I told you that the device you use to do this is made from precious stones and gold used in a prescribed fashion, you would certainly consider that sorcery, because without gold you can't have smart technology, and it uses precious stones and such too. Okay, it's about over with. Let's say you didn't freak out though, and you allowed me to show you this device. It's still 2,000 years ago. Then you may think I was some type of god or something. If you were to attempt to describe the device, you would, 2,000 years ago, you would possibly say it was like fire mingled with glass, or it had many faces in it, and it had or it had the light of a candle in it. You would also marvel at all the sounds of voices, trumpeters, harpers, pipers, and musicians that came out of it as well. This is a common sense assessment of one's reaction to a smartphone if they encountered somebody who had one 2,000 years ago. That was another hypothetical thought exercise. Now fast forward back again to the modern day. This where it gets good. What do you think would happen if the internet suddenly just stopped and ceased to exist? Let's say that God finally decided enough is enough, whether he used an asteroid or a comet to slam into the earth and knock out all the power grid altogether, or a supervolcano that would have similar effects with earthquakes, floods, and the darkening of the sun. Or maybe the sun itself would belch out a massive super flare that would do the job quite clean and efficiently. Or maybe he wouldn't need to use any natural disaster at all. Maybe he would just let mankind destroy themselves with all their hate, wars, big bombs, and discord. Regardless of how it may come about, let's just say something did happen and suddenly there was no more internet. And all the people of every age from all over the world could no longer spend all of their time in that city. No more social media, no more buying or selling, no more devoting all of one's free time to worshiping images produced by an idol made by the hands of man from precious stones and decked with gold. That would upset many of the Earth's population. One of the reasons being many people use the internet to make money, and a lot of them have used it to get extremely rich. So if it were to suddenly stop working for good, would these people not be weeping and mourning over the loss of that precious city, the internet? I'm sure the richest humans in the world would be crying, as well as the average merchants. Even those who use it for self-gratifying purposes to boost their ego and pride instead of financial gain would also mourn the loss of that city. With these things considered, one could say that if the internet stopped working permanently, that you could call that the end of the world or the last days. Yes, lay down. In a minute. You'd call that the end of the world or the last days, or even the apocalypse, considering the madness and insanity that would surely arise in the fallout. Despite what you call it, it would have a devastating effects on our current civilization. And the longer it is before a disaster like this happens, the worse the results will be. If you think the loss of the World Wide Web would cause massive problems today, imagine if it happened 10 or 20 years from now. Now, I'm not a religious person, nor am I superstitious. In fact, I find both Christians and atheists equally annoying in their obsession with what they call themselves or claim to be. That being said, I've found some very interesting passages from an ancient book that I believe to point to this exact situation, the fall of the internet. The name of it is Revelations, and it's the last book in the King James Bible. Here are some of the verses I found in the 18th chapter. Now, this is, I believe, pointing towards the hypothetically, if the internet were to stop working. Here it goes. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise any more. The merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones, and of pearls, and of fine linen, and of purple, and of silk, and scarlet, and all fine wood, and all manner of vessels of ivory, and all manner of vessels of most precious wood, and of brass, and iron, and marble, and cinnamon, and odors, and ointment, and frankincense, and wine, and oil, and fine flour, and wheat, and beasts, and sheep, and horses, and chariots, and slaves, and souls of men. And the fruits that thy soul lusted after are departed from thee, and all things which were dainty and goodly are departed from thee, and thou shalt find them no more at all. The merchants of these things which were made rich by her shall stand afar off for the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, and saying, Alas, alas, that great city that was clothed in fine and linen, and purple and scarlet, and decked with gold, and precious stones, and pearls, for in 1 hour so great riches has come to naught. Okay, that's the little Bible stuff I want to throw at you. But now skip down 2 or 3 verses and you'll read this. Here's another bit from the Bible. Again, I'm not religious. I find, I find this interesting. And here's the lines, some more lines, just a couple of verses down. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, Thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. And the voice of harpers and musicians and pipers and trumpeters shall be heard no more at all in thee, and no craftsman of whatever craft he be shall be found any more in thee, and the sound of a millstone shall be heard no more at all in thee. Oh, damn. Sorry. And the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. Now, I'm certainly not trying to push any type of religious views or church ideals at all. But with that said, I do think that if a higher power did give the author of Revelation a vision of the last days and had him write it down, that it would be presented in the form of a riddle or parable, something that's straightforward but still requires a little thinking to figure out. And also consider it was written 2,000 years ago using ancient interpretations about modern situations. And yeah. Now, regardless of one's opinion of the Bible or personal beliefs or non-beliefs, it's hard to overlook the similarities of the writings of Revelations and the situations that humans have currently gotten themselves into today. Especially if the internet were to cease to exist. Think of this. Just try to maneuver through life and society today without a phone, without that human number in your hand. Just try to buy or sell without it. Sure, it's still possible. We all know those days are coming to a close. Something else I would like to point out is the fact that anything you see on a screen is an image. Even a face-to-face call with someone, you're looking at an image, not the actual person. The truth is that simple. It's basic common sense that cannot be denied. Here are a few more verses from the 13th chapter of Revelation that are interesting too. I like to say, if there were a riddle and the answer to the riddle was the internet, then this would be the riddle. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save that he had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name, telephone number. let's there's let's just say that God was about to bring down some serious justice on the earth. I think he would look upon the internet and all its inhabitants and say, okay, go ahead and keep babbling, or Babylon, Babylon, Babylon. Keep babbling. With that in mind, here's another passage from the 18th chapter. And if there ever were a riddle, and the answer to that riddle was the internet, then that would be this. Here it goes. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. Again, it sounds like a riddle. That's all I have right now, and I may put other videos up talking about different things, but I thought that's an important message I would like to share, and I appreciate you guys if you stuck around to the end of this. Thanks.